All right, we'll start soon. Hello? 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 Input. Hello? 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 Test, test. Hello? 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 There we go. Nice. Yo. And it doesn't. No. Okay. Well, my driver keeps timing out for some reason. Let's hope that that's the last time. Oh, and it's not. Okay. Well, hopefully it'll be the last time. Oh. Does it keep timing out for you guys? I wonder if this. I don't know if the stream keeps lagging or not. My drivers will time out and it'll freeze my entire screen. But anyways, I don't want to go through my bias if it's gonna start lagging me out. All right, well, let's see. Anyways, we got all this visual consolidation in here. Where's the previous weekly low? Right here, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, nice. So previous weekly low down here. So as of right now, these two, I mean, for the most part, actually the 22,803 is my target for the morning. We had already met the upside objective with the weekly manipulation, and now we're looking for the downside objective. We had sell side from last week, previous week low as a target, and then we had the daily bullish order block, another target for me, and then now we have the previous weekly lows from July 14th in the crosshairs right now, as well as another actually stacked liquidity pool right below us. So plenty of liquidity in the form of relative equal lows, all time based down there, as well as this weekly low we can start to reach for. But I was starting to the morning off by looking at my targets were already met. So I was a little hesitant in doing a stream today, but I wanted to see if we can get some continuation into London close, meaning 10 a.m. at the absolute minimum, as to form that new low of the day. And 930 prints up, drops back down, and obviously have kind of a lackluster displacement in here, rebalances, and then comes back down again. Not a lot of high quality entries, at least in my opinion. You have a little tiny turtle soup there, but there's not any major SMT going on at those highs. So that's definitely harder to see in something probably more hindsight. I'm currently flat right now, so I haven't taken anything. No soup or anything off stream. So I was waiting to see if we could get a fill of this value gap plus order block, but it just wicked up slightly and then came back down. But this wick up right here was forming the gap, so I don't really look at that as an entry. Yeah, so I'm looking for, we got tons of lower objectives. Very classic consolidation reversal profile that we're looking for right on Sunday, right? Look at the 1 hour chart, beautiful. And to me, this looks like it's evidence for long-term reversal, which is what we normally see with those, NFP week being the Judas swing of the month, and a bunch of low resistance sell side all the way through June and July. So that's expected to be purged, I think. In my opinion, that's what I'm looking for. But consolidation right above the higher time frame PD rate, shoots up to it on Wednesday, Thursday, drops back down, closes through. And then now Friday, we have this nice continuation off of the new day opening gap and just bleeding lower, right? I did not trade Wednesday. I did not trade Thursday. You heard me say that on Sunday. That was my game plan. I also posted that yesterday. Wasn't looking for anything, or I posted on Wednesday. I wasn't looking for anything Wednesday, Thursday. So, of course, there's going to be setups there. It's just not something that I want to spend my mental capital on. Doesn't mean I'm going to lose, but I'm more likely to lose on those days just with the inherent probabilities of them. I had already taken a good trade on Tuesday, so there's absolutely no point for me to take any trades Wednesday or Thursday if I don't need to. In this case, I absolutely don't need to. So just going to sit out on those days. Today, post 8:30, it's kind of fair game. So I was looking earliest to take a trade at 9:30, but we'll see if we can get anything here during the macro time, which is very, very weak. And one of my, not flaws, but something I'm less comfortable in trading is expansion profiles. I'm fine with trading consolidation for the most part because of the fact that you do have some sort of internal stop run before it wants to leave. I'm fine with trading retracements. I'm fine with trading reversals. Expansions are sometimes the hardest, at least for me, because of the fact that you get no retracement into premium, and we're going to keep holding, the weakest PD array. Like, just like it's as if we had shot up into this, drop back down, and then we're going to just immediately rebalance and then sink lower. It's very hard to get an entry on those and trust those PD arrays are going to hold because, what if this is the one entry that you take and then it retraces? A lot of times that's the problem with it. So I like to just wait for at least a deeper retracement or a fair value gap or a run on stops internally before I take my setup. If that doesn't offer it to me, then I just end up not missing, but just sitting there with no trade. It's not a miss move if you get no entry. But that's why it's been a slow week for me. Hopefully you watched the video on Tuesday that was put out. So if you have not seen that, it's a pretty good market review. It's posted publicly on YouTube, but if you want the link, I'll forward it to here for the future. But covers the entire trade I took on Tuesday. It was basically about a 13R from entry to exit. So not too bad. But yeah, this to me was what I was looking to get an entry on. If 942 just ran up a little bit higher into that, would have been perfect. Do have a tiny gap in here too. But if we go back over here and mark out all their actual meaningful targets, why am I using the 4 hour? Because we already had taken buy side here on the 4 hour. And for us to continuously sweep the sell side further and further in, we're looking for weekly targets, right? This is Friday. We're closing out the week and we're purging through liquidity targets pretty quickly and energetically. Look at how large these candles are here. 63 points, right? We've already moved, 200 points in a matter of 20 minutes or so. So make sure you're aware of the volatility today. But I want to be looking for 4 hour PD arrays because that will be tied to my weekly time frame, right? And also my weekly moves. So any 4 hour liquidity pool is going to be relevant for weekly objectives. And since we have not met that weekly objective, we're likely to drop back down towards these levels in here. So anything that's time based on the week, obviously gaps on the 4 hour or liquidity pools. We don't really have any gaps from here down, right? A tiny one in there, but obviously it's being traded through. So previous weekly low, and then if we go to Sunday here, it's a short week. Well, that was July 4th. Okay. Previous weekly low right here. So previous weekly low. All these are important time-based liquidity pools. So that's kind of the only objectives that are left. I mean, you could look for that Wednesday low, but very unlikely to just take that and continue to just reverse without purging these. So all the targets here on the 4 hour are important. This is that Wednesday low, right? So this is kind of like the minimum drawn liquidity. Then you got weekly low, and then weekly low. So we'll make this a different color so we know. Let's make this sell side. Whoops. Okay. And by the way, these are not, super close targets. These are 100 points away, and this one's 300 points away. So you got to be very careful about the volatility today. Make sure you're not, if you are someone who uses, oh, I have this amount of contracts I use per day or per trade, make sure that you're adjusting that for the volatility. That's why I don't really use contract amount, right? If I just use, oh, I'm using 3 contracts every trade. If I take 3 contracts here, my stop loss is going to be 2 to 4 times higher in points than it would be if I'm just using actual dollar amount. So be very careful here. And now if this short-term run-on stops here was in fact my entry, I'm completely fine with missing that because there's really nothing from a 15-minute down that I really liked in there. There's no gap. 15-minute, 5-minute, there's also no gap. So, nor was there SMT. Yeah, I mean, I guess very slightly, but it's hard to tell. Obviously, the 5-minute order flow is already bearish, so we don't need that to flip. Hopefully your week has been going well. You have a new 10 a.m. news? Let's see. Friday, yeah, we do have ISM PMI. So this is the absolute earliest you can make that swing low for the week. It's tagging our minimum DOL. So we're still looking for this one and this one. Minimum DOL tag. But it's just very weak price action, Even looking at the 930 entry, is there something really high quality in there? I mean, maybe you could take the change of state delivery, but it's kind of hard to take. So anything in there really not that I can kind of see. I mean, 2-minute also fails to run into the 2-minute gap, 3-minute, 3-minute retracement. So nothing really in here. Right now, first presentation gap or anything it's trading into. You got a breakaway gap. Then the high quality inefficiency with the order block doesn't offer you it there. Breakaway gap again, drops back down. Another rebalance into, it wouldn't even be a 2-minute gap, I don't think. Yeah, it's not a 2-minute gap. So just immediate rebalance, come back down, trades back into this inefficiency with the order block, overshoots it a little bit, changes to delivery. They also take that high. So it's like, you can kind of see the weak entries, but it's very hard to trust sometimes expansion entries. And you end up sitting there with no trade, or that's going to induce FOMO. So do not let this, although it's running a lot, right? It's like 200, 300 points already. Don't let that be something that freaks you out. Or this is the move that you're missing. This is not the move. Right? This is not the only move that's going to happen. Sometimes we make decisions based on the fact that this is the only move that's going to happen for the week or for the month. And if you miss it, then you start FOMOing in. Don't do that. You don't need that. It's another weekly target. So you're -2, -2.5 lining up with those pools, and this one, -4 down here. So if it closes through -2, -2.5, then we can look for that added target. Now we're getting close to a circuit breaker level here. We're already, how many percentage are we down? Yeah, 3.5. Oh, actually we're not. We're fine. Okay. Never mind. I thought we were way bigger. So now we got inefficiency plus bearish order block. No, it won't be cut off. There's specific levels. 3.5 is one of them. It's a dynamic circuit breaker. But 3.5, then 7%, then 13, 20. 7%, I believe it's a halt, and then 13%, I believe it gets shut off. But we have not tagged those in a minute, so. But it's good for you to know those, because that's actually the real price limits. But 3.5 is one. And you can get a bunch of different levels if you're looking for them. Start fib projecting. And yeah. I'm not trying to get assassinated today. Coming back up into the gap in the order block. Trying to see if it, this is also a sketchy entry, right? We just tagged that previous weekly low. So looks like we're returning back into the short-term premium. There's not a really good high to pull this from, right? We don't really have an intermediate term high, so it's much harder to determine a child dealing range here. It could be this one, it could be this one, it could be this one, it could be all the way up here, the premium one. All right. So to take this short entry off the gap, the order block after it just ran out the previous weekly low, a little sketchy. Not the previous weekly low, but a previous weekly low from here. This is the other one. Watching to see if it wants to give me a fractal market maker sell model here, but this displacement immediately after is making me think we're getting a deeper retrace. Maybe to sweep these liquidity pools. Still got macro time here. And for the 8:30 news days, I like getting in before 10:10. So we'll see. Extend this gap up. All right, comes up. Fills almost the entire thing. Get displacement through here. Fair value gap. Retrace into that. Beautiful unicorn. 15-second. I want to see a gap through. So no SysD. Into premium. So he wants to reject off this and then go back for that swing low. How many points is this? 48 points. Holy cow. These ranges are insane. All right, so it doesn't retrace in premium and go back down. So go back to the 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart. Waiting for this soup now. Run on stops. Yeah, I know it's like April PA. I like it though. Shows you it's finally going to leave this consolidation. Finally, the months of consolidation may be over, and August is going to move. So this right here technically meets the requirements for the weekly low. I had set in daily bias. I'm looking for. One is make sure we're going to see some continuation at least into London close kill zone. So 10 a.m. starts the London close kill zone, and we just tagged a weekly liquidity pool. This has the absolute possibility of being the weekly low. Now I would like it to purge it probably further than that, right? You look at the 4-hour chart, that's going to be a tiny tick below, right? Like just a one little boop, and then is that going to be the weekly low? Probably not. But that does meet the requirements. I'd like to see it purge further through. So taking shorts at this point is going to be more sketchy than before I had met those requirements all the way in here. Now it doesn't really offer me a setup, but I would have liked taking a trade at 9:30 through there. Also notice the displacement here and displacement here. But this is what I was saying. It's hard to draw any dealing range here because that's not really a dealing range high, nor is that. You could argue this would be, but this is the real run on stops. A run on stops, the short-term swing low. Anytime you're pulling a dealing range, you want to see that be your dealing range, right? From this high to this low. So when it's this kind of failed swing point here, to draw a dealing range from here to here normally isn't the best. So that's not a run, that's not a run. So you either want a fair value gap to be traded into, and that forms your dealing range from high to low, or it's a run on stops. So like that, and then you have a swing low here. And there's your dealing range high to dealing range low. Otherwise, these are going to be used as run on stops. Let's see, TGIF range. Nope. Nah, I don't really want to take longs back to the TGIF. I've marked it out here, but we're going through 5-minute PD arrays. It's not impossible to do, but I don't really want to be trading back inside the range here. I want to just give me the expansion lower if I can. You probably see, I mean, someone's probably long already, or you probably see people taking longs. I don't really want that. Yo, what up, Nathan? Yes, sir. Good PA finally. Looks like it wants the gap. You started already? Or are you saying in general? Oh, yeah, yeah. I feel that. Are real. Yeah, it's holding this pretty well, so it looks like it wants the gap in premium. As it gets further and further into the session, I become less inclined to take a setup. Like I said, I normally like to 10 a.m. being, or 10:10 being the last opportunity for me to get in. Yeah, so wants to give me that gap and come back down, or quickly, energetically give me a sisty. I'll take that. But otherwise, nothing from me. Oh, look, yeah, so it's going to go back to premium. If I'm in order block, nope, just 5-minute gap. Tracing back to premium. Yeah, it's looking nice for a seasonal shift. Why I'm doing wonders here. All right, so here's your premium tag. Just needs to get up a little bit more. There we go. No? There we go. So premium tagged into the refined gap. There's a 5-minute gap there. You can refine it down to the 1-minute gap. I marked out the order block and extended it because that's really the only OB it's may seek. Doesn't need to come up and tag it, but I'm watching how it's going to close within this gap. Let's energetically leave it or not. If it doesn't, then we'll look for the order block. And this is kind of my line in the sand for the morning. So if it decides to trade up to the consequent encroachment, mean threshold of the order block, if it goes past it, I'm done for the day. I'll say give me a setup off this gap or off the lower portion of this order block plus this gap, I'll take that. But basically it just needs to tag premium or tag the order block and then energetically run back down, give me a SysD on a lower time frame or on the 1 minute, and then 15-second retrace back into the gap, and I can take that back down to the sell side. And the reason I wait for that instead of just shorting it right now as it's digging into premium is because, number one, I can get extra confirmation to make sure that order flow is in fact going to flip from this short-term buy program into the short-term sell program. And also so I can get a tighter entry where my entry may be here, my stop is here, compared to if I get on this premium leg, right, where do I have to place my stop? Above the order block. So we don't know how far it's going to retrace as a result. So sometimes I'll wait for just 1 or 2 more PD arrays to print or break. And then at that point I know, okay, it's likely to re-enter into that sell program or buy program that's in line with my draw and liquidity. And I can take that with a tighter stop and higher confidence and conviction than. Would you call this running into premium a manipulation? It would be a short-term manipulation in terms of what I'm looking for, but it's not manipulation in what we normally classify manipulation, right? Manipulation is typically at the start of the move. So I would look at this as manipulation here, right? This is original consolidation, manipulates it. That's that last manipulation leg that you can project and gives you targets down. Now, this is also a kind of manipulation in the sense of if, coming back down. So manipulation in two sense of it's manipulating people, yeah, but not really what you look at as manipulation. Normally you see manipulation as that last run up there before it drops back down and continues. So yeah, this is more of a retracement than manipulation. Just terminology difference, really. I wouldn't want it to. If you've marked out this 939 gap as your first presentation gap, this is a breakaway gap. So I would not like it to turn back up into here. That's why I said at the absolute maximum, it should really come back, touch this order block maybe, and then come back down. But I do not want to feel the breakaway gap. I do not want it to take out that swing high. So I'm watching how it wants to respond. And it is moving up with some speed, right? You got a gap there, gap in here, comes back down. So it's not like it's just super high resistance. 2 minute and 3 minutes a little bit. In 2 minutes a little bit worse. Maybe a very tiny change in state. See if there's any short-term SMT. 5 minute. Nope. 1 minute. Nope. Okay. Okay, so we got a gap, traced into it with the 1 minute, obviously. Going to run back lower, see if we can get a closure through here. I want a full energetic closure through. There we go. Nope. If we can form a gap here. Now, in 1 minute, we still have this inefficiency and order block we have to get through, so I'm going to watch this as well. All right, broke PD array. I know, it was literally just 90. It was 92 degrees or something over here, and then it was 68 yesterday. Now it's 68 today. I heard y'all got some flooding over there. Be safe. SMT, SMT, SMT. Yes, nice. A little tiny momentum SMT there. Need follow through. Now this is a little bit better of a change in state. See if it wants to tag the order block and keep that SMT. Doesn't look like it will. I didn't even know y'all could flood. The concrete jungle, eh? SMT's still holding. We didn't tag the order block yet, so I'm waiting for that. I've marked it out from the wick to the open here. The most sensitive area. What the heck? Ew. What? What? What is going on here? Disgusting. All right, into the order block. SMT now is gone. Into the Fair Valley gap. So this is my line in the sand right now. So if it wants to get above mean threshold here, I'm watching that. Mm, 15-second chart. $10:30 approaching as well. Let me put this in predictions chat as well. Into premium with fair value gap and OB minus in the sand. It's looking less convincing as a reversal. But it's up there right into CE and to the open of the order block. Right in here, right? That's the normal area that we mark out. Right at 1030 too. Got short-term SMT forming. Between ES, NASDAQ, and YM. Into the breakaway gap. Let's see if it still wants to be used as a breakaway. And there's CE. Just get up a little bit more and I'm done for the day. Let's see where it closes. It's already disrespected 50%. It's already waked up into the breakaway gap 50%. So it's already one sign, well, not one sign, but multiple signs of weakness. If it gets a closure up through it, then I'm done. Still holding 50%. What's going on over here? Yeah, still short-term SMT. I just need that change in state delivery. There goes main threshold. And yeah, I'm done. So overall, I mean, that kind of does what we're looking for it to do, but no short setups, at least on the way down. I mean, maybe the 930 soup, if you're studying for that, waiting for it, offers it nicely, but 850 macro, yeah, that works too. So, like I said, I don't want to be trading it back up into into TGIF range. I don't want to be scalping away from another weekly direction. But overall, pretty decent price action. Like I said, this doesn't meet the requirements for the weekly low, and now it's at this point it's too far in a premium for me to look for shorts, as well as time of day is also kind of past. But main thing there to study is just we open up already below the targets, at least for me, was these liquidity pools in here. Previous weekly low. So when it opens up there, my first thing is time. So it can run out those liquidity pools, and that may meet the requirements for price coming into it. It's a 4-hour sell side, probably in discount. But time of day. When we have these kind of consolidation reversal profiles where Thursday's making the high of the week, which is exactly what we were predicting coming into Sunday, right? You look at the weekly open and the weekly outlook we had on Sunday. I said most likely a consolidation reversal profile or seeking a short profile. We're going to have buy stops, sell stops taken intra-week. And your best high quality moves are going to be on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And here you see it playing out to script. You've got SMT at this high. You've got it reaching up to -4, -4.5. It's also reaching up into targets for, where's the weekly targets? There's a weekly, if you take this high to low of week, put your weekly 27268, you get it up there. But time of day is going to be more important. So although it may be running those liquidity pools out here and here, consolidation reversal normally sees continuation into Friday. So into Friday, meaning you'd favor to see the low of the week put in during London close of Friday. London close between the times of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So when you see, okay, do we want to continuously move lower? I need to see if it wants to break a 5-minute PD array or give me offer bearish PD arrays going into 9:30, and 9:30 will drop, and then you can look for entries coming to 10 a.m. That's why I wanted to get this one here if it offered it to me. I just needed one candle to dig up into that. I would have taken that. It doesn't give it to me. And then as it runs out the sell side right at 10 a.m., that meets the requirements. So it's following it to script. Just sometimes, unfortunately, you just don't get a move that is really high quality. It may drop down here. At this point, you got first presentation gap here. This is technically more inefficient, but it may energetically run, take out a SSD or something, and keep moving. But at this point, it's already kind of showing at least it may come back for that 9:30 swing high, and it's already met the requirements for low of the week. So I still was promising you guys a psych stream, so we'll do that later today. Maybe not much of a mark review, but psych stream / Q&A. So that'll be later today. Probably after afternoon at some point. This will be the tape read here will be posted. Not much. I mean, in here I was kind of silent for a lot of it. 50 minutes going by and feels like nothing. So if you want to go back and watch that, you can. Make sure you journal, even if you didn't take a setup. Journal if you did. Do the things that are necessary to succeed, as always. Overall, not a bad week. So make sure you journal and review those journals, as well as your screenshots and tape reading. All right, so I'll see you guys later today for the psych stream, and tomorrow for the public Q&A / backtesting that we normally do. All right, so take it easy, be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.